Toronto rocks on Much More Music.
Welcome to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Karina Huber coming to you live from Toronto's Downsview Park with a bird's eye view of the crowds and the stage. Look at all of those people. About 430,000 people are expected to descend upon this area, all for this historic event to see who? The Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Justin Timberlake, and those are just 3 of the 15 acts who are set to take to the stage today. We're going to be giving you live coverage throughout the day, but first, let's head over to Bill Welichka. How you doing, Tiger?
I'm doing great, Karina. Thank you for asking. We are all over this world-class event like a fat kid all over cake, let me tell you. As you know, we are going to be out in front of the stage with all the people. We're going to be on the stage, and right now we're hanging out backstage, and you can't get more backstage than this. There's the stage, and we're in the back of it as you see all the equipment being loaded on and off for the upwards of 15 acts all ready to take the stage all day long, and you're going to be seeing the coverage live on Much More Music. Right now, we are going to turn you to Richard Cazzo, somewhere out there.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Listen, I've got the best spot in the house because you know what? I'm here in the field. I'm with people from all over the world. We're hanging out, having a good time. You know what? It's amazing. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. This is the best.
Stay tuned for all the great music emanating from that stage and all the interviews happening backstage. And I got to tell you, Toronto has never seen a single day music festival this big and this great. In fact, Canada hasn't, North America hasn't, and for many of the bands taking that stage, this is going to be the biggest gig of their life. It's going to be incredible. Karina?
That's right, a lot of craziness, and we're going to bring you a lot more of the exciting live footage. But first, let's take a look at why we're all here in the first place.
Toronto, the city with the world's tallest structure, clean streets, and now SARS. The World Health Organization has issued an advisory warning against all non-essential travel.
Take a look at the bug now that may be responsible for this worldwide crisis. Hong Kong doctors say it's a coronavirus, variants of which can also cause the common cold. World Health Organization is essentially lumping Toronto with no-go zones like Hong Kong and parts of China.
This is outbreak, and this is really scary.
I'm concerned too because it's every day more and more cases, so I'm concerned about this.
How badly have small businesses in the entertainment district been hit by SARS? Take a look inside this restaurant. It says it all. Would your restaurant normally be this empty on a Friday afternoon?
No, usually it's a lot busier. No tourists are coming to the city.
It's estimated SARS has cost the city's economy between $500 million and $1 billion. A website is being created where visitors can download a passport to events and themed weekends, complete with discounts. Public service announcements starring Canadian celebs are also in the works.
We're talking about tourism, but we're talking about something even bigger. We're talking about the commitment of the Government of Canada to a city, to a region, and to the country that has been devastated by the effects of this awful illness.
We're not going to close the door and walk away. We're going to stand here and we're going to fight. We're going to fight for the success of these events, for the men and women who have their livelihood depending on tourists coming to this city. We're going to fight to make sure Canadians come and express solidarity with Toronto. We're just beginning.
It is unfortunate. It did take a tragic event like SARS to bring an event like this all together. But fortunately, SARS is a thing of the past, and in the past 5 weeks, this event has come together featuring all these great bands and people pretty much from all over the world gathered here today to celebrate, in essence, Toronto. Right now, I'm going to toss it over to Karina.
That's right, Bill. In fact, that I've heard there's some people from Argentina and Ecuador, and it is incredible when you think that this is an idea that started in March. 4 months later, it has come to fruition. There were some difficult times. Nevertheless, all of the artists are here, and of course, you can see the fans are very excited that they're here. So let's go see the Rolling Stones. Fittingly, here is Start Me Up on Much More Music.
All around me, there's a whole bunch of fans. It's amazing. Hey, where are you from?
Burlington!
And who are you here to see?
AC/DC, let's roll!
It's really hard to believe that just a couple of days ago, there was really nothing in this ring. There was an open airfield. But our man Bill Welichka caught up with one of the key organizers, and they had a chance to talk about how getting this event together. Here's a look.
I know it's only rock and roll, man.
the Stones said we're in, we're coming, we were still on the travel advisory from the WHO. So that was a real testament to their confidence in Toronto.
So how's the stress levels at this point?
Well, we're working around the clock, but we have a template that we're building on from the Pope's visit. There's no way we could have done it in this time if we didn't have that template. You know, the papal visit with 800,000 people on this site last year, we're able to take that learning, build upon it, and we've had the luxury of being able to hire a lot of the same people who worked that event as well.
What do you think the long-term ramifications will be, besides it obviously bringing some good things to the economy of the area, but just in terms of it being a pop culture event, an event with a big E, I'm thinking?
I'm thinking so too. What really drove it home for me was when I saw people lining up overnight for tickets, 20-year-olds, and what they were saying was, we missed the first Woodstock. This is going to be our Woodstock, and we're not going to miss it. If you think about, yeah, there's going to be great economic impact from that one day, but I think there's a lot more to it. I think all those pictures that'll get beamed around the world of 500,000 happy people having a great time in Toronto, and all the ambassadors that go back to their hometowns and homelands, I think that'll do a lot to get Toronto back on the tourism list longer term.
On Much More Music is brought to you by Molson Canadian Rocks. I am Canadian.
To Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. As you can see, the crowds are getting bigger by the minute, and we certainly lucked out with the weather. Blue skies everywhere. Of course, everyone here is to witness history in the making, the largest single-day ticket event in North America. And of course, for those of you at home, you're also watching history in the making, but from the comfort of your very own homes. You don't have to sweat out there with the rest of them. I also want to say a big hello to our troops who are stationed in the Golan Heights, Egypt, Afghanistan, and Bosnia. You're watching us right now, so hello, boys, and hello, girls. Speaking of boys, where are you, Richard?
I'm out here getting a tattoo right now. I've got the Canadian flag on my arm. This elderly lady is taking care of me. How are you doing, love?
Doing fantastic. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun. I hope it's not a permanent tattoo.
Oh, well, you know, well, I am Canadian, so it's got to be permanent, you know what I'm saying? But I'm having a great time out here. Karina, you know who's coming to town? Sam Roberts. He's playing here today. That's going to be a great thing. We know you love him, don't you? Anyhow, speaking of Sam Roberts, those of you out there who don't know who Sam has had an album that came out last year. Phenomenal. This year, his new debut album came out at #2 on the charts. Fantastic. Here's a look at Sam Roberts and what he's all about. Thanks a lot. That looks good.
That was the Stones, and this is Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. We are now going to check out some footage of today's opening act, Aykroyd and Belushi. Have Love, Will Not Travel review on Much More Music.
Welcome back. You are indeed watching Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. My name is Bill. Let's go hanging out in the backstage area. So what you see behind me is the back of the stage. On the other side of that, upwards of 500,000 people enjoying the sounds. Well, they just finished enjoying the sounds of Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Still to come, as you know, that amazing lineup. Rush, Justin Timberlake, Tea Party, Kathleen Edwards, Sam Roberts, of course, AC/DC, and capping it all off, the band that everyone is here to see. I'm talking about Mick and the Boys, the Rolling Stones, I think. And actually here to check out the set by Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd was Dan's good buddy, Catherine O'Hara. She's a big star of the small screen and the big screen. And maybe we'll catch her when she comes down. She saw the camera and she ran the other way. Anyway, I promise you, we'll have Catherine O'Hara standing by, as well as many other people, just for you as you enjoy Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Right now, way out in the field with the 500,000 people, Karina Huber.
That's right, Bill. As you cannot see because you're behind the stage, but trust me, the crowds are just getting massive everywhere. Just swarms and swarms of people. Now, earlier you talked about Kathleen Edwards. She is a newcomer to the scene. You know, really, she came out this year, but she's also making some a name for herself south of the border. She was written up by Rolling Stone magazine as one of the top 10 artists to look out for in 2003. So we're going to check out her first big hit. Here is 6 o'clock news as Toronto Rocks on Much More Music.
We be hanging out on stage right as part of Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. And how are you doing? You doing all right? You came all the way from, what, Pickering to be here? No, where?
Edmonton, Alberta, baby.
Well, welcome. And we got to welcome a lot of the American people that came up that I was talking to earlier. Yeah? Welcome. Welcome to Toronto. Very glad to have you. And you know what? You're in for the day of your life. It's going to be amazing. And you have to stay tuned for all the interviews and all the performances still to come. It's amazing that this whole entire event, this world-class event, has come together in a mere 5 weeks. Normally an event of this magnitude, probably a year, upwards of a year or more to pull something like this together. This was done in 5 weeks, and that's thanks to various levels of government and the Rolling Stones and their organization, all the band's organizations, various record companies, various promoters, including the House of Blues. We spoke to Riley O'Connor of the House of Blues yesterday when the workers were doing the finishing touches on putting up the stage. We were right there in the middle of an empty field.
So after, what, 30 years of performing, the Stones have seen everything, or have they?
Well, they're probably going to be quite surprised when they walk out and see this size audience. I hazard a guess that I think any band that walks out tomorrow, I think their breath is going to be taken away. They'll have butterflies in their stomachs like they've never had in their lives before. I mean, this is a humongous undertaking, and we have a fantastic team put together here, great organizational skills, and the plan that we put together in terms of just logistics in the very beginning, once this was announced, everybody jumped on the ground with their feet running. Outstanding cooperation from all the various services, city, police, EMS, fire, TTC, unbelievable.
Have you slept yet?
No. Okay. Soon. Taking this for 6 weeks, and my brain hasn't stopped, so I'm looking forward to the final day.
Hey, welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Richard Cazzo, and as you can see where I'm standing, I gotta go take care of some business. There's 3,500 of these bad boys. Bill, what's going on with you, man? Oh,
I'm having a great time, along with the other 500,000 people here having a great time. Are we all having a great time? Why the long face? Don't look so sad. You gotta jump up and down, do a woo sound or something. Nice talking to you. Anyway, as you can see me, behind me on stage from Montreal, Sam Roberts. And stay tuned for a little bit of an interview with Sam. I caught up with him yesterday in his sound check. He is utterly freaked out about playing here, and he is looking forward to it, but he knows this is the biggest gig of his life. Here he is right now. Sam Roberts live on stage as part of Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. And stay tuned for a little bit later for some words from Sam Roberts. Right now, you know, we caught up with some people this morning who were camped out for hours and hours, wanting to be the first on the lot, the first to get a great seat right up in front of the stage. We were there when the gates opened up. Check it out.
How long have you been here for?
Since 10 or 12 o'clock on Monday.
12 o'clock on Monday?
Yeah, night.
How are you gonna hold down this spot? You're up close.
I'm just gonna lock my feet right here. No one's gonna touch me.
What about when you gotta use the washroom? Who's gonna guard your spot?
Someone's gonna get me a bottle.
That's the technique, bottle?
Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
We are from Argentina, my friend.
Bolivia.
You guys have come all the way from Argentina, or are you guys actually here in Canada?
Just to see the Rolling Stone, my friend. Just to see the Rolling Stone. AC/DC and on the rock, man.
So how are you gonna hold down this spot?
We brought waters and stuff. We have all our food and meals for the day. And just it's all here. Snuck in some carrots, you know.
So what are you guys eating? Show me what you guys have in your bag.
Got maybe 3-4 bottles of water. You're only allowed to bring 2, but we snuck 3 in. Did some grocery shopping in the morning. A nice vegan pizza, some protein bars, some nuts.
Carrots, anyone? Really how are you guys gonna hold on to this spot?
We're not gonna move, brother. We're not moving
here.
Fingers in the air the whole day.
So no food trips, no washroom trips, no trips to go see some girls.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Before I move. That's for bad. Say that again. Piss my pants before I move.
one of the coolest guys in rock and roll. Montrealer Sam Robertson on stage right now. And another loud band playing tonight is AC/DC. Our man Bill Williska had a chance to talk to the band yesterday after rehearsal. Here's a look. Just chilling out here with my buddy Uncle Jack and nephew Kyle. Kyle, who are you here to see?
Rush, AC/DC, and the Rolling Stones.
Rush, AC/DC, and the Rolling Stones. Well, you know what? They're coming up later. We'll have backstage interviews, performance, and a whole lot more. So stay tuned.
And much more music is brought to you by Molson Canadian Rocks. I am Canadian.
Caught up with the mayor of the city of Toronto, Mel Lastman, yesterday during rehearsals. Here's a look at what Mel had to say.
We got the greatest bands in the world, rock bands playing in the greatest city in the world. And this is going to rock the world. It really is. Not only Toronto, but it's going to rock everybody. Because when people watch this and they see this, they're not going to see any masks. They're going to see people smiling. They're going to see people happy. They're going to see people enjoying all these great bands. This is going to get the world talking about Toronto. And, you know, roll is his life. And take a look at the people who didn't have the guts to come here for $16 US. That's all to see the Rolling Stones. Where the hell in the world can you see the Rolling Stones for $16 US? 21
here,
bucks.
That's it. You answered your question.
You had your way, it'd be $15.99. Right.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. You know, there's so many people around me and it's amazing, but at one point in time, it was kind of surprising because there's a lot of bands who didn't want to come to Toronto. But there's one man, and you can see him all the time, him and his family, funny guy, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. He wasn't afraid. He came to Toronto. It's incredible the amount of traffic in this place. There's people everywhere getting by with drinks and pizza and food and trying to get to one person to another and just sort of hang out and enjoy themselves. And that's a great thing. I mean, everyone's here to see great bands. Tell me something. Who are you here to see?
Oh, just great music and Stones, of course, but just here to really enjoy the day.
Who are you here to see?
AC/DC.
Who are you here to see?
Rolling Stones.
AC/DC, Rolling Stones, and all good music. Well, you know what? There's a sort of aroma in the air. It's a pretty, you know, some people may not like it, some people love it. Well, it's something that Karina Hubert did a little investigating, and since the marijuana laws are changing, Karina looked into it.
The Stones headlining concert is, yes, all about the music, but for many people, these all-day events are often enhanced by the smoking of a little J, a little reefer, aka marijuana.
If they want to do it, that's fine. Usually ends up being their behavior that kind of ends up getting in the way. You know, different people go to the show for different purposes. A certain population of the crowd tends not to engage in those activities, myself being one.
I don't think that pot makes most people, you know, act crazy. It just puts people in a mood. And, you know, if somebody wants to smoke pot at a concert and it's outside and it's not like in my face necessarily, then I don't have a problem with it.
With pot all but legalized in Canada, the big question on many people's minds is whether the cops are actually going to crack down on the puffs of a few joints.
There's so many people doing it. They're going to bust one people. They're going to bust 1,000 people. There's not unlimited authorities where they can just bust people, you know?
There will be receptacles, I believe, outside for people that are going to drop off any stashes that we're planning on bringing in. And once we're inside, we'll determine what goes on in there to see how the people are keeping the peace, and we want people to have fun.
If they're going to do that, that's fine. Have a little control over yourself, I guess, and the outcome from the stimulant, you know?
Hey, I'm just hanging out here with my new friends, Emily and Brandon, catching up the sun. Kathleen Edwards hails from Ottawa, Ontario. The singer-songwriter has been quoted by Rolling Stone as to be one of the top people, sorry, I should say the top 10 people look out for this year in music. Here's a look at her performance earlier this week, earlier today.
Johnny Rocket Star, just picked up a girl at the
Hey, we're welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. We've got a whole bunch of highlights for you today and performance from 9 to 11. Hey, ladies, you guys are here, and who are you here for?
Stones, baby!
Well, then, if you want the Stones, we've got a video for you, Like a Rolling Stone. Much More Music.
Sam Roberts right there on Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. My name is Bill Welichka, and to give you an idea of just how hyped this event is, well, you've heard the numbers already. Upwards of 500,000 people have gathered for this one-day event. Not only Toronto's biggest music event in history, not only Canada's, North America's, perhaps the world's largest single-day concert event, and that's pretty incredible. And just to give you an idea, again, of how hyped people are, usually in the first couple hours, people start trickling in. Already in the first 2 hours of the gates being opened up, probably 100 to 200,000 people have already gathered. Now, for those lucky few that were on site, they caught early performances by this group, That She Can.
Rolling Stone, we love you from Argentina!
Watching Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. My name is Bill Welichka. You know, we do hope you're enjoying our coverage and our flavor that we're presenting all day long, and you can't tune away for a second because you're going to miss something. Stay tuned for a lot more performances and a lot more interviews. Behind me, the Tea Party on stage. You know what? Let's take a look. Roughly 15 bands as part of Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Still to come, you can expect some, of course, the Rolling Stones live, some AC/DC. One of the co-headliners, in my opinion, one of Canada's best bands ever. I'm talking about the three-piece out of Toronto, Rush. We caught up with them yesterday in rehearsals.
Right now, Toronto Rocks on Much More Music.
Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Hey, I'm Karina Huber with a great vantage point here overlooking the crowds, and of course the audience is right behind me over there. We've got lots more live performances coming up, but first we're going to check out a video by Lenny Kravitz. Now, is Lenny Kravitz performing here, you ask? Well, not that we know, but that is not saying much because there's been a lot of rumors about surprise appearances today, and the two big names that have appeared are Christina Aguilera, which makes sense because she performed with Justin Timberlake last night here in Toronto, and the other name we've been hearing things about is Bono, and I have heard that U2 is in New York City, so all of these are a possibility. Of course, we don't know what is going to happen. We're only going to find out as the day progresses. So we've got Lenny Kravitz with American Woman, a cover of the Guess Who's song, and of course they're going to be performing later on tonight. But before that, we've got a classic from 1967. Here are the Rolling Stones with 2,000 Light Years from Home. Lenny Kravitz there for you on Much More Music. I'm putting you in the pit with the fans. This is the people who really wanted to come out and see the bands. You know, if I asked them anything right now, I probably wouldn't get an answer. Okay, are you having a good time? Easy question always. All right, well, our own Bill Welichka was doing overtime yesterday. He was here to interview the Thunder from Down Under, AC/DC. So we have the results of that rendezvous coming up. Also a video by the Aussie band, Australian band that is. Here they are, AC/DC on Much More Music. This is Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Hey, I'm Karina Huber, and you know, I got to tell you, I have never seen an event like this. A lot of people are calling this the Woodstock of our generation. 500,000 people here. Everything seems to be running smoothly. The music is fantastic. You know, people are eating. They're getting to the portalets. It seems to be overflowing. No bad smells. So things seem to be going quite well. And of course, this is all for a good event. Basically, $1 off every ticket sale goes towards helping the community sort of recoup itself after the effect of SARS. And so 11th hour didn't come to Toronto, but one artist who kept on rocking was Ozzy Osbourne. And here are a few sage words from the man himself.
Rolling Stone!
All right, so here we are right in the pit. I gotta ask these guys, you having a good time?
I'm having an excellent time.
Is it everything you expected it to be?
Oh, and more.
And more. Okay, well, don't go away because coming up, we've got lots more performances and a lot of highlights from Toronto Rocks on Much More Music.
Toronto Rocks on Much More Music is brought to you by Molson Canadian Rocks. I am Canadian.
Hey, you're so sweet. You make me hard. You make me weak.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. As you can see, we're right amid the crowd, and people, they're just everywhere as far as the eye can see. I love that power. Woohoo! All right, well, earlier I was talking about, some surprises. The other things that have been going on in the rumor mill is that there might be some interesting collaborations. Now, we know that the Flaming Lips already did a collaboration with Justin Timberlake in the past, so will that happen again tonight? Of course, I don't have that answer, but what I do have for you right now is the Flaming Lips live on Much More Music. The Flaming Lips there on Much More Music. All right, well, can you find me? I'm kind of hard to find, but here I am on top of the water. Okay, let's talk about just some of the numbers here. Food. There are 500 different concession stands just serving food. Of course, there's some stuff for vegetarian, but it is predominantly meat. A lot of roast beef sandwiches, hot dogs, of course, and hamburgers, and water. There are 2 million liters of water with an extra 185,000 available for free. All right, well, that is definitely not the only thing that is being consumed here today, let's be honest. So let's take a story right now that takes a look at the reefer on Much More Music. Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Hey, I'm Karina Huber, and we are now checking out the merchandising stand. Some t-shirts out there for 25 bucks, which you know what is not that bad because when Bon Jovi was in town recently, the hoodies were something like 160 bucks. All right, I'm just gonna butt in here. You don't mind if I just butt in, do you? Excuse me. No, I'm kidding. Are you buying some t-shirts here?
Definitely.
Which one are you gonna buy?
Definitely the Rolling Stones.
Is that why you're here, or are there other bands you also want to check out?
Well, I kind of want to see all of them, but the Rolling Stones is definitely what I came for.
My guess is, though, that for a lot of people, it's also about the whole experience of just sort of witnessing history in the making.
20 years down the road that you went to that concert. Yeah.
You're going to take lots of pictures?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Okay. Are you a good fan of Sam Roberts?
Yeah, I like Sam Roberts.
Yeah? Okay, well, he is coming up next. In fact, we've got his first video ever. It's called Brother Down. It was shot on Lake Ontario, and the experience literally made him ill to his stomach because the swells were so high that I think the whole band was barfing over the side of the boat. We're going to check that one out, but before that, Bill Willis caught up with Sam Roberts earlier today, and here's a look at that. Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Karina Huber, just chilling out with some people that I've met along the fence. You guys having a good time?
Oh, I'm having an awesome time.
All right, so what has been the highlight so far?
All the people.
Have you made any friends?
Oh, yeah. We sat in...
Well, where are the girls?
Everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's girls.
Yeah, but why aren't they sitting next to you?
What's that?
Why aren't they sitting next to you?
I don't have the charm.
No, keep at it, keep at it. Now, I have noticed one thing here. It is really dusty, and I was going to get a pedicure, but thank God I didn't because look at how gnarly my feet are. Absolutely disgusting. We got to say, good thing that the weather is sunny and not raining because there'd be mud everywhere, but I'm mesmerized by this woman over here because how have you managed to keep your pedicure so clean?
I don't know. I got it yesterday, but that's about it. I don't know. I've walked through the dirt and I have nice toes, I guess.
I guess I'm just cursed. But we've got lots more coming up, a lot more performances. Getting married, congratulations. I just heard that snippet. And, of course, Rush is going to be performing later on in the evening. For right now, we're going to check out one of their videos. But before that, an edit, we actually got to catch up with them earlier today. Here it is on Much More Music. Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. That is what you are watching, and I am Karina Huber. I've met a couple of girls. Now, who are you here to see?
Justin Timberlake.
Are you a fan of his since he left NSYNC? Were you a fan of NSYNC?
Everything.
All of the above. Okay, so are your parents here at this event?
Yes.
So what do you think of it? It's awesome. Now, do you plan on staying till the bitter end when the Rolling Stones come on?
Yes, I definitely do. I'm excited.
All right, well, we're starting them young. And speaking of friends, let's go find out what Richard Cazzo's doing. Hey, Richard, what are you doing?
I'm hanging out here on the tower, Karina. It's a hot spot. I didn't know how good it was out here. I was over roaming on the other side, but if I look out here right now, there's tons of people, and that's the best thing. And you can just go out there and wave. Everyone is so great today. The communication is so nice. Everyone's cool and calm. Couldn't ask for anything better. Anyhow, for those of you watching at home, be sure to tune in to Much More Music between 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time for all the highlights, performance, everything, and a lot more. For now, have a look at Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River on Much More Music. Hey, there's a lot of people here, and I've been roaming around, checking it out and figuring out what it's all about. There's a lot of people here, and it's inevitable to get out there and roam out and find out what it's all about. I've been talking to people, figuring out why they're here and how much fun they're having. Everyone's having a great time. All those people out there, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, they love it out. Check it out. Well, that's what we're all here for, to have a good time. I've been out having my fun, roaming, checking things out. Well, Karina Huber as well has been out, and here's what she discovered.
Not exactly the place for vegetarians to hang out. This spot is known as Barbecue Row, or Beef Without Borders. Why is it called Beef Without Borders?
It's pretty border-free. You know, you can go as far as you like. You just got to make sure everybody likes his beef. And we shouldn't really, you know, make that a problem for anybody, you know, no like one-off disease or anything. This is like Canada letting the world know, like, beef is good.
The industry has been hit hard by the U.S. not buying Canadian beef. Have you seen a lot of Americans here?
We've seen a few Americans. There were some people around from San Diego, definitely some accents and everything.
Ben, you're from Alabama, so what brings you to these parts?
We're coming here to promote the beef for Canada.
Were you surprised and shocked when the U.S. decided to boycott Canadian beef?
Yes, I was very surprised. Over one cow, you know, it just didn't make no sense.
This is a great event, you know. 500,000 people. Yeah, we'll never do this again. This is like a way to go for Toronto.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. In behind me, the party is still going. People are live and on stage, are legends in the music business. They are the Isley Brothers, taking us back to 1959. Here's a look. Put your hands on the table. Put your hands. A Canadian group that's had their fair share of time on the road has been Blue Rodeo. Last year, they were touring across Canada, and our man Bill Wilichka had a chance to catch up with them on the western leg of their tour to talk about life on the road. Here's a look. Wicked up here, and everything is perfect, just the way we like it. There's tons of crowd people, and I can't get enough of this. It's such an amazing day. What more could we ask for? They formed 49 years ago, and they're still going strong. If you didn't get enough of these guys, whose most recent album was produced by R. Kelly, well, we've got some more for you. Here's another look at the Isley Brothers. Hey there, and welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Richard Cazzo. In behind me is a band that I respect. They're Canadian stalwarts. They've been playing for years, and they're playing a classic right now. Here they are, Blue Rodeo Live. Take a look, ladies and gentlemen. They're on the big screen. Hey, we're back here. You know what the funny thing is that there's a lot of bands here today who have taken some time off from touring. For example, you've got the Rolling Stones who've come all the way in from Europe here to Toronto to perform live. You've also got Justin Timberlake, who performed at the ACC and is now here to perform for us today. It's unbelievable how these people have the time and the energy to give us what we want. Well, you know what, they're here to celebrate Toronto, to put us back on our feet. And it's nice to see that bands like Blue Rodeo are still touring and continue to tour. They're Canadian stalwarts. They've been around for a while, and the best thing about that is that they don't complain. They do what they got to do. They come around and they make us happy in our different cities and our different provinces. Well, Bill Wilichka had a chance to catch up with Blue Rodeo last year while they were on tour to talk about life and life on the road.
My name is Bill Welichka. You are indeed tuned into Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. You know, this day is all about the Rolling Stones. Coming up for you right now, a full hour of nothing but making the boys. We bring you right now this Much More Music original presentation. This is the story of the Rolling Stones.
Welcome to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Karina Huber with the luckiest spot in the place. Take a look at this crowd, about 500,000 people here. They've been gathering all day. We've seen and met some incredible people. Of course, seen some also awesome performances. The guest who was here, Sam Roberts, Justin Timberlake, and the list goes on. And what we're going to do is throughout the next 2 hours, we're going to show you one song from each of the acts that have been here today. Well, let's check over with Bill, who is somewhere. Where are you, Bill?
Thank you, Karina. We are hanging out stage left with an amazing view of the 500,000 people that have gathered here. This has been just an amazing day for this world-class event. As you know, 5 weeks in the planning has culminated to this day, and it has came off very successfully. I was talking with some of the guys in blue here, some of the Toronto's finest. No major incidents to report, which is always amazing news. As you said, some highlights to come, and of course, the Rolling Stones. Now, Richard Cazzo, over to you, Dick.
Hey, like I said, Bill, this is sort of the best place to be because you know what? I've got all these people around me. I've got a whole bunch of friends, and it's incredible. All these people here are here to support Toronto, see the show, see AC/DC, and you know what? It's unbelievable. I can't get enough of it. What's your name and where are you from?
Jessica, and I'm from Toronto.
I'm from Toronto. What's your name and from where are you from?
I'm James, and I'm from Toronto too. From where? Toronto.
Well, you know what? It's the best thing because sometimes, you know what, you never get enough of hanging out with people, getting to know them and having a great time. And like I said earlier today, everyone's come from so far. And you know what, everyone's here to have a great time and support Toronto. Karina, we're going to hand it back to you, girl. It's your turn.
Thanks a lot, Crazy Cazzo, right in the thick of things. Well, let's get it all started with the band that kicked it all off. It's Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi with Have Love, Will Travel on Much More Music.
Hopefully you are looking at an amazing view of the over 400,000 people, and I'm just hanging out with just some of them. Right here, this guy came all the way from Newmarket, Ontario, I think.
Bradford, Ontario. Hi, Bradford.
It's been an amazing day. A lot of great sights. Okay, you can go now. A lot of great sights, a lot of great sounds, a lot of great smells. Someone's cooking onions. What's that smell come from? Someone's cooking onions. Smells kind of interesting around here. Anyway, throughout this hour, we're going to be giving you entire performances. Stay tuned for that. Right now, we're going to be giving you some Sam Roberts. This is Brother Down from earlier today.
Lift him up.
From earlier today, that was Sam Roberts live as part of Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Still to come, highlight performances from Blue Rodeo and AC/DC, and of course, live, the Rolling Stones. We'll see you in a little bit.
Toronto Rocks on Much More Music is brought to you by Molson Canadian Rocks. I am Canadian.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. We are having the best time here. I know I'm stating the obvious by saying I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. So many fans convening down on one spot to see an incredible lineup of artists. Well, so far we've seen Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and Sam Roberts. Of course, the Rolling Stones are coming up later on. And the question on many people's minds is what songs are they going to play tonight? They've got so many to pick from. Well, I have a couple of clues. Yesterday they played Ruby Tuesday, the Soundcheck, as well as Sympathy for the Devil, but it remains to be seen what they're going to play tonight. Before we get to some more music, though, let's check in with Bill.
Thank you very much, Karina. We're hanging out on stage left, and as you may have heard, AC/DC have just wrapped up their set. Can I say ass? I can say ass on the TV because they kicked it. AC/DC kicked ass. It was amazing. And you know what that means? If AC/DC was on second last, we know who's still to come, don't we? I'm talking about the Rolling Stones. Look forward to that. Right now, I'm going to toss it over to Richard Cazzo.
Hey, Bill, I'm here and I'm having a great time. There's a whole bunch of people. This is great. It's amazing. Just saw AC/DC. And you know what? Sometimes the perks of being down here is you get a chance to hang out with some lovely ladies, as I'm doing right now. All right, we just saw AC/DC. This show is getting hot. And earlier today, we saw Blue Rodeo. Here's a look at that performance.
We'll see you down the road.
Thank you very much.
And it was the pleasure of many people here to see one of Canada's most beloved bands, Blue Rodeo, perform here today for this historic event. Coming up next, we have a band who've been waiting many years to play with the Rolling Stones, on the same bill with them, that is. In fact, back in 1995, they had 2 concerts scheduled to play along with the Stones. Both of them got canceled. I'm talking about the Tea Party. So today, July 30th, 2003, was their lucky day, and here they are, Tea Party on Much More Music. That was the Tea Party that we just saw on Much More Music. We've got some more wicked performances coming up, performances by AC/DC and the band that everyone out here has been waiting for, the Rolling Stones, so don't you dare go away.
Back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Richard Casso here at Downsview Park. This is amazing. I'm surrounded by people. Everyone's having a great time. You know what? We're going to show you the performance of a woman who we haven't seen in quite some time, but she was here today. Her name is Sass Jordan. Take a look at her performing her song, Brand New Day.
It's a song about, you know, yeah, all right now.
Hey, that was Sass Jordan performing earlier today. And if you didn't know, Sass has got a new album coming out. It's a best of collection, so if you like that, you'll want to go out and get it. Now I'm wondering, I've got all these people around me. There's a whole bunch of beautiful ladies around me, but Karina Huber, I don't know if she's hanging out alone or solo, or if she's got someone to hang out with. There's a whole bunch of good-looking guys out here for her. Where's my girl, Karina? I think she's in the tower. Karina, you in the tower?
Yes, I am, Richard. I like hanging out with the lovely ladies, I'm sure. I'm liking hanging out with the big boys up here, the big crew, lots of men. Well, we're going to get to another band. This is a very interesting one. They formed back in 1983 in Oklahoma City. Their name is The Flaming Lips, and they played their first live gig at a local transvestite club. That's not the only weird thing. Their name, The Flaming Lips, there are many theories surrounding where they came up with that. Some of the theories say that it was named after a porn flick. The other one is that it was named after an obscure drug reference. And the third and most bizarre one is that the lead singer of the group had a dream that a very risque Virgin Mary planted a kiss on him. Bizarre, yes, fantastic. You better believe it. Here are The Flaming Lips on Much More Music. Wonderfully weird, The Flaming Lips, and we just saw them on Much More Music. Now, this is all about the live performances, and we've got some great ones coming up by 2 of the biggest bands in the world. One from Australia, AC/DC, and another one from the UK. Do I need to tell you who I'm talking about? I don't think so. The Rolling Stones, I'll tell you anyway. Those guys are coming up later on after the break, so don't go away.
You are watching Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. My name is Bill Wilichka. Now, as far as this event is concerned, it was reported last week. It was estimated the attendance would be around 430,000. This week, we had heard it could get as high as 450,000. Unofficial attendance for today has it at around 490. That is 10,000 shy of 500,000 people here at Downsview Park. Pretty incredible. It is a world-class event. And right now, I'm going to toss it over to my buddy Richard Casso.
Hey, Bill. Well, you know what? You're talking about the amount of people here. Unbelievable. You know what? The numbers are incredible. You gotta come down here to find out what it's all about, because if you just look behind me, in front of me, around me, it's just people, people, people. But they're all great people. Everyone's having a great time. And you know what? It's not so bad being back here, because see those towers out there? There's 36 of those babies. And what they are is audio delay towers. So you know what? If you can't hear the sound, well, you can hear it through those, because they'll make sure that you don't skip a beat. Also, the screens show you everything. And coming up soon, as you can see on that screen, will be the Rolling Stones. So back here, it's not so bad. You know what? Great people, great time. This is a great party. Back to you, Bill.
Thank you, Richard. You know, I can't see you, but it sounds like you're getting trampled on. I do hope you're okay. It sounded kind of scary where you were. I'm relaxed. I'm hanging out with my buddies, the cops over here. Anyway, it's all about the performances right now from earlier today. The Isley Brothers.
Thank you very much. That was Kathleen Edwards with her breakthrough single, 6 o'clock news. Coming up next, we have got one of the hottest guys out there right now. In fact, a lot of the young girls that I spoke to out there today were waiting impatiently for this guy to perform. Justin Timberlake. Now, not only is he cute, but also I like the way he's going with his dating situation. He's following the footsteps of Ashton Kutcher. He's been linked romantically to Janet Jackson and most recently to Cameron Diaz. She's in her 30s. He's 22. We've come a long way, baby. Well, here he is with a shout out to the girls, Senorita, on Much More Music.
All right.
Love love Justin Timberlake. I don't care what anybody says. Justin Timberlake is God's soul. It's the great thing with him. Doing this thing with NSYNC, but now doing the solo thing and working with the Neptunes was great for him. This new album is incredible. And talking about the Neptunes, the Rolling Stones are going to get together with the Neptunes and do a remix of their song, Sympathy for the Devil. Stick around because the Stones are coming up. But first up, I think a group that's legendary as the Rolling Stones will be the Guess Who. Here's a look at their performance earlier today. Enjoy!
I am proud to announce the fact the Stones have taken the stage, which means in mere moments you can expect to see some performance from the Rolling Stones live on stage from Downsview Park. It's going to be fabulous. You please stay tuned. And I'm also pleased to announce the fact that despite upwards of 500,000 people, no major incidences to report. There has been various cases of sunstroke and some heat exhaustion, but that's just our crew, so don't worry about us. We're all fine. Coming up after the break in performance, Rush.
Toronto Rocks on Much More Music is brought to you by Molson Canadian Rocks. I am Canadian.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Well, the excitement here has reached an absolute pinnacle because the men of the hour, Mick and the boys, the Rolling Stones, are right behind me on stage. In fact, they interrupted their European tour to come here to be part of this historic event. And of course, many questions about what the lineup will be. Well, they kicked it all off with Start Me Up, then it went into Brown Sugar, then You Got Me Rockin'. And, this is such an incredible event. The fans are going nuts. So we're going to check in now with Richard Casso, who's going to be out on the ground there. He's going to fill us in on how the crowd is reacting to all of this music. Richard, what's going on down there?
Hey, Karina. Well, I'm here enjoying myself. We've got this young lady rocking her booty to these guys, and obviously you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Rolling Stones. It's still not great down here. You know, there's plenty of room to move and dance, and you feel like busting a move, you can do it because the Rolling Stones are here to make that happen. Bill, it's up to you now. Tell me what's going on, my friend.
Well, you know what's going on. Guess who's on the stage? It's the Rolling freaking Stones. They're on the stage, man. And I can see Mick. I can see him. He's right over there. There's Keith. There's Ron. And you know what? We're going to be showing you some of their performances a little bit later. You just have to hang tight, and you are going to be digging that. Right now, from earlier today, hometown favorites. I'm talking about a little old band called Rush, and it was amazing, and here it is.
That was Canada's very own Rush that we just saw. They performed earlier today at this historic event. And of course, the band behind me right now is none other than the Rolling Stones, the band who made all of this possible. Now, earlier they played Ruby Tuesday, one of my favorite songs. This is one of the songs that they performed yesterday in the sound check. Another one that they did yesterday was Sympathy for the Devil. Now, I'm hoping and praying that they're going to play that later on tonight. Now, for all of you guys who are watching us from the comfort of your very own homes, and to our troops who are stationed out in the Golan Heights, Egypt, Afghanistan, and Bosnia, we're going to promise you that we're going to have some more performances coming up by the Rolling Stones, of course, and AC/DC. But first, let's check in with our very own superstar, Bill Wolichka. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for that nice introduction. We are, again, stage left, and of course, on stage right now, the Rolling Stones. Still to come, you're going to be seeing some Stones live in performance. This is a beautiful thing, you know. You come to a big gig like this, upwards of 500,000 people. 500,000 smiles is what you're dealing with here. That's the power of music. Makes people feel good. Buddy here from my hometown of Welland came up and said hi. These people drove in from Kentucky to be here.
Louisville, Kentucky.
That's a what, a 10-hour trek?
It was about 12 and a half hours, about 622 miles.
I've driven to Kentucky in 10 hours. You drive slow.
Well, yeah, we tried to.
And of course, all for the Rolling Stones, right?
Yes, to see the Rolling Stones.
And how's your day been? Have you been disappointed?
It's been excellent. Very, very nice day. Everybody's been very friendly. It's been excellent.
Well, on behalf of all the Torontonians gathered here and all of Canada, welcome. And go home and tell them what a great place Canada is.
Very friendly. Very friendly.
You had these on your shirt before. They're like the flashing nipples. And I come over here, look at the flashing nipples, and they fell off. That's okay. Anyway, earlier today, one of my favorite Toronto groups beside Rush would be Blue Rodeo. They perform live, and we're going to give you a little taste of It Hasn't Hit Me Yet. Right now, Blue Rodeo from Toronto Rocks on Much More Music.
Thank you very much, folks.
Hey, that was Blue Rodeo. Love the video, love the music, great band. You know, Canadian music here at this concert has been excellent this evening. I'm here with this gentleman. What is your name?
Alexander.
And who are you here to see? Come on, you've got to want to see someone.
I can't remember. Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones? How about the Tea Party?
The Tea Party was good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take a look at the Tea Party again? Here's the performance of the Tea Party earlier today. Here at Toronto Rocks and Much More Music.
Welcome back. You're watching Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. My name's Bill Welichka, rocking out with around 500,000 people gathered here at Downsview Park. We are into our 11th hour of live television, bringing you this world-class event. We sure hope you've enjoyed some of the highlights, some of the interviews, some of the performances. And we got to tell you, still to come, you know who I'm talking about. 2 words, Rolling Stones, live on stage in performance. That is to come. But right now, I'm going to toss it over to Richard, Emotional Rescue Cazo. Richard, where are you?
Hey, Bill. I'm still out in the crowd. And actually, you know what? I'm with a woman here. Her name is Linda. She's from Niagara Falls, New York. And something really interesting happened to her today. What happened to you today here?
Well, I have diabetes, and I got sick here today, and my son was off getting water. And there was just a whole group. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Oh, you got to come over here for a minute. These wonderful people right here, I'll tell you what, when my son was gone, they were feeding me granola bars. They got me water. They put water on my head because I got dehydrated. They sat there. They took care of me. They didn't move. They were just fabulous. And they weren't letting people across the blankets. But my son was over there, and he saw me, and those people just parted the way. So my boy.
And that's the great thing about the city of Toronto, is that when people are down, this city is ready to help people out, and especially the residents here. But you know what? Let's find out what Karina's up to. Karina, how are you doing, my love?
I'm doing great. That is a great story. We just witnessed a really exciting event. In fact, we saw one of the surprises of the evenings, 2 generations of sex symbols. There was Mick Jagger with Justin Timberlake on stage performing a duet for Miss You, just one of the highlights of the evening. Now, of course, another very exciting moment this evening was watching the Thunder from Down Under, AC/DC. So this one goes out to our Power Hour friends. Here is Thunderstruck on Much More Music.
This next song we're going to do for you is want everybody to...
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. I'm Karina Huber, checking out this incredible historical event, and here they are, the Rolling Stones, right behind us. This is the band that kick-started the whole thing. It was because of them that this was possible. It started off as an idea in March, and here we are, July 30th, 2003, and it has happened. History in the making. Hope that you, everybody at home, are enjoying this, and just want to let you know that coming up from now on, essentially, all of the performances are about the Rolling Stones. But first, let's check in with Richard Cazo. How you doing, Richard?
I'm okay, Karina. Thanks for telling me what's up. You know what? There's a lot of people here. It's unbelievable how a lot of people lined up early this morning to get here to see this band on the stage. Now, you know what? That's an act of commitment and of love and giving the love to Toronto. So here's what happened. We went to find out this morning what people did when they got in line. Here it is.
That was the Rolling Stones with Start Me Up, the song they kicked it all off with this evening. Well, I am very pleased because I got to see 3 of my favorite Rolling Stones songs. Ruby Tuesday, as well as Miss You and Sympathy for the Devil. Yes, they played it for us. We've got more of the Rolling Stones coming up. But first, I want to check in with Richard. Are you enjoying the songs out there tonight? You know what? We are going to go talk to Richard later on. But first, here are the Rolling Stones on Much More Music.
Baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby. Rock.
Welcome back to Toronto Rocks on Much More Music. Angus Young, with the Rolling Stones on stage. And you know what? We're here in the pit. It's really hard to see sometimes, but you're as smart as this guy. Well, of course, you're going to have a binocular to find out what the party's all about. But Karina, I understand that you've got a bird's eye view. So tell me all about Karina. What's it like up there?
Well, I do. I have an incredible view over here of the stage and, of course, the crowds here. And it's an interesting thing. You know, we started work pretty early this morning. We left the station at 6:30. We went on live at noon. My knees are about to give out, but my brain is still buzzing from all of the excitement. But then again, how can you blame us? The Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Justin Timberlake, you know, just an incredible lineup today. I mean, I'm still reeling from all the excitement. How about you, Bill?
Karina, I know how you're feeling. You know, I think I need a shower really bad. My feet are killing me. I can't wait to rip off these 1957 ass clown headsets that I'm wearing. But despite all that, you cannot complain. This is an amazing time, and on behalf of every one of us here helping you bring this live show and also part of the 500,000 people gathered here today, we thank you for watching. And there's not one person here that isn't having a good time. You know what I'm saying? People from Kentucky, people from Michigan, people from Toronto that are here, all showcasing how much this city has to offer. We return you right now, live to the Stones on the stage.